How's it going, everyone? It's Bombman Dan with Clan Dino Gaming, bringing you some more professional StarCraft 2 replays. Today's best of 3 is between LiquidHerO and EGThorzain, but it is no longer EGThorzain anymore. It is EGThorzain, and as the reason I chose this best of 3 is because I love LiquidHerO's Protoss playstyle. And Thorzain is now part of Team EG due to his ending contract and has left Mouse Sports. And I was like, you know what? Let's watch some games of Thorzain. So this is an older replay of LiquidHerO and Thorzain, and it's on an older patch, so it might be a little bit different than normal games, especially with that new Queen range and Overlord speed, even though we won't see that. But the Protoss Observer build time is longer, and there might be a few different things, but it shouldn't really impact the overall game. So we're on dual site. LiquidHerO does have the right side spawn, and Thorzain has the left side spawn. And we see Thorzain putting a supply depot near his mineral line, so not worrying about walling off too much this ramp. He's just going to sit back over here and build his barracks. And we have LiquidHerO chronoing those probes out here with his gateway, and sending his probe immediately after that. So 13 gateway, pretty typical, not too out of the ordinary. And Thorzain deciding to get his first refinery. Still hasn't sent out a scout yet. We might see the first Marine to do that, or the SCV after this barracks to go check that out. And LiquidHerO will be coming in here. Let me bring up the production tab, and we'll be spotting all of this. LiquidHerO getting his assimilator, as well as putting a pylon back here, and putting 3 probes on that assimilator. So we're definitely going to see probably Warp Gate coming here shortly. And there is a Marine being produced by Thorzain, as well as he's upgrading to an orbital command for those mules and scans. And we have the cyber core down here, and we've got plenty of gas here to get our Warp Gate technology, as well as when that finishes up. Since we have those 3 probes on there, we should be able to get a stalker as soon as that finishes up, if we so desire. We do have a gas steal over here by LiquidHerO, just putting a little bit of pressure on Thorzain there. Gonna kind of prevent him from getting that gas and getting a lot of early gas units, and as well as gonna give us a little bit of vision to see what's up. Definitely going to be yep, no cancel there, so definitely gonna just stay there and sit tight. As well as a barracks being built over here out of sight of LiquidHerO, so being a little sneaky there for Thorzain. Some 2 racks of early pressure there, because we do have a reactor on this one. And we might get a tech lab on here for the combat shield and the stim. So there we are. There's these tech lab. And just a little whittling away at the assimilator, trying to get that out of here as soon as possible. We are chrono boosting the cybernetics core, but it does not look like he clicked on the Warp Gate technology there. So sort of a problem for LiquidHerO, having not gotten his Warp Gate being built yet. So kind of a weird thing there. Looks like LiquidHerO is... I'm not sure if he misclicked that at Chrono Boost, but it's kind of weird that he is not getting his Warp Gate technology at all. And we do have early Void Rays coming out here, so sort of an interesting play there by LiquidHerO. Definitely going to be Marines, and Void Rays aren't very good against Marines, so it is going to be a little weird. We do have the Chrono Boost here on the Void Ray, but the Void Ray seems to be cancelled. So, sort of interesting for LiquidHerO. There's the Warp Gate, and there's the Void Ray, and LiquidHerO, sort of in a peculiar position there, is getting pressured here by some SCVs and some Marines and a Marauder, and only has 2 Stalkers here. And there's this SCV scout going in there, and if Thorzain really wanted to, he could push up here and pretty much take him out. This Mara is going to do a ton of damage against these Stalkers, but the Void Ray is going to pop here very shortly, as well as the sentries coming out here. Will it be in time enough? But they will get up the ramp, and it looks like it is going to be somewhat of a trouble here for LiquidHerO. The force field goes down, not doing too much there. Pulling some probes out of the way, and we do have the Void Ray coming back to try to see if he can do some damage here. And the Marauders and the Marines doing a ton of damage here, but it looks like EGThorzain is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage here, but LiquidHerO is going to be able to hold this off by pulling almost all of his probes, and is significantly behind after that, with a 20 supply to 33, and EGThorzain getting his Expo up, while LiquidHerO does have to get all those probes back, and LiquidHerO not look like he's having too much of a good game here. I saw Chronos go down on both the Stargate and the Cybernetics core without anything being built from either. And so his Warp Gate technology is really far behind, but he did manage to hold on there. So he is kind of in a weird position here. LiquidHerO moving in with this Void Ray. You'll see if he can get that supply depot out here. He can also charge up on there, so if the Marine comes over, he can take it out a lot easier. It looks like he is going to fall back and try to get the supply depot, get a little bit of win as possible, but he's going to pull out there and manage to get out of there without very much health damage being done at all. But it looks like he wants to get that supply depot, but EGThorzain will not let him, pulling that SCV for repair. So very, very nice move there by EGThorzain, and it looks like LiquidHerO is going to be having a hard time storming the front here. We do have 3 bunkers coming here and a ton of Marines going to block any pressure here, but LiquidHerO is going to decide to take his natural anyhow. Gonna poke around with this Void Ray and see what he has to deal with, and just gonna sit back, macro up as hard as we can here. Still a pretty interesting position there for LiquidHerO. Kind of messed up in the beginning there, but seems to be coming back rather well. 40 supply to 56. So not too off. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job with this Void Ray, just kind of keeping LiquidHerO, or keeping EGThorzain on his toes here, and is going to try to, you know, keep him out of there. But it looks like this Void Ray is in a sweet spot here. It's kind of like up and vertically, and it looks like these Marines can't really do damage to it. And it looks like he's going to try to get this Tech Lab, and it looks like he's going to kill some Marines as well. So LiquidHerO being very cost efficient with this single Void Ray he made, and just keeping EGThorzain at his base. And he's going to decide for EGThorzain to move his barracks out of there and just say, you know what, I'm done with that. That Void Ray is not going to be able to get this barracks, and I'm just going to land it and build another Tech Lab. So kind of smart move there by EGThorzain, not letting him lose too much. And very, very nice Void Ray micro there for LiquidHerO. We do have quite a few sentries there at the front to sort of counterbalance all these probes being made. A lot of gas that we're not using. We can make a lot of sentries for that. So that's what LiquidHerO is doing right there. And that's why we have all these sentries. And with some good sentry micro, can kind of change the way a battle goes down. So very, very economically balanced for LiquidHerO. Go back to EGThorzain, who is just really getting a lot of units out here. We see this supply is 73 to 59. And as well as we do have an engineering bay down, getting us a nice +1 attack for all of our ground units, as well as we are getting Medivacs out for that nice MMM ball. Where's that starport? There we go. And it looks like EGThorzain, if he wants, he can really just kind of roll in there and probably do a ton of damage to LiquidHerO. He does have quite a few units here, mostly just sentries again because of all that minerals he's spending building gateways and building probes, and just needs to, you know, find some way to make a unit that can still do damage and you know, be built off of mostly gas. And it looks like this Marauder, who will win? And they kill each other. So there you go. A Marauder and a Stalker killing each other. And so LiquidHerO is going to move forward and take that. We have a nice warping of Stalkers there, and it looks like EGThorzain is going to move out. It's going to be a particularly weird battle here, because these sentries aren't very good against direct combat here, but there does seem a nice force field split there, going to prevent this army from getting around and wrapping around. He's going to deal with this small army here, and he's actually very, very nice force fields there by LiquidHerO, preventing the army from engaging altogether. And he's got his Guardian Shield up and is going to do a ton of damage here. And it looks like some very nice play with LiquidHerO. I don't think it will be enough here. He's going to throw down some Guardian Shields, and he is holding rather well with the Stalkers, but he's going to have to fall back because these Marauders will be doing a ton of damage, as well as there are a couple Medivacs. a nice Stalker resupply there, and it was very nice play by LiquidHerO, but the supply lead is 60-90, so still favoring ThorZain by quite a bit, being able to produce so much off of this fully saturated natural and main, and ton of production facilities to deal with that. We do have a Hellion driving in here and some nice warp-ins there, so pretty good play there by LiquidHerO, not letting that Hellion do too much damage. And we do see a Templar Archives as well as Charge going down, so we might see some Zealot Archon mixed to kind of counter that MMM ball. As we know, Archons do a ton of damage against biological, especially that splash is very nice. But we are getting a Sonic Storm down there for some very nice side storms to do a lot of damage here. And he already sees a ton of medivacs, and I really like that play. Is not even going to bother with the Colossus. Colossus are very good against Marines and pretty basically Marauders. And you can get the expended thermal lance out there. And some nice force fields going down there, preventing all the army from reaching around. And we have the Stalkers on the high ground, but the medivacs are going to give the ground unit the vision that they need to attack it. But the force fields are going to try to stop these units from getting away so that the Zealots can engage them. But it looks like LiquidHerO is going to be able to hold off for now because he has a ton of Zealots, and the Zealots do just get charged now and are going to be able to do a lot of damage to these units that are coming in. And it looks like LiquidHerO might be able to hold them off, but maybe overextend himself there a little. And ThorZain is going to go back in there, and LiquidHerO not having too much. Marauders definitely doing a ton of damage against these Stalkers, and you need these Stalkers to do the damage while these Zealots walking from behind. But we have two Archons warping in right now. Hopefully they will be able to hold off ThorZain's assault here, losing pylons left and right here for LiquidHerO. As well as LiquidHerO taking his third down here, as well as getting an orbital command. We have some units reinforcing from the back, and this is quite an army. The Zealots charge down, and it looks like it will not be enough. These two Archons up here and the three Stalkers might not be able to enough, but he's going to pull all of his probes to see if he can keep doing damage, and the medivacs falling behind, and LiquidHerO picking off quite a few of them. And it looks like ThorZain is going to fall back, not wanting to deal with these Archons, but definitely might have been able to take them out there. And as I was saying before, I really like this play by LiquidHerO, getting the Archons and the charge lots. Very nice play instead of going with the Colossus, because the Archons do that nice splash instead of the High Templar with Sonic Storm. And we already saw a ton of medivacs there, so LiquidHerO was like, alright, I know he has a starport or two with a reactor on it. And that is correct, we do have a starport with a reactor, and he can just produce as many Vikings as he wants from that. And Vikings are very good against Colossus, doing extra damage versus armored, and you know, can actually hit them. And then as well as a Protoss player to respond to that, we need to make Stalkers. So those Stalkers are not good against Marauders, and it just kind of gets into a messy area. But these Zealots, very good against Marauders, and these Archons good against Marauders and Marines. And the High Templar with the Sonic Storms just doing a ton of damage. So I really like that play. A little bit harder to do, I would say, because of the Sonic Storms landing and whatnot. And the High Templar, you don't want to lose High Templar at all. So it's a little bit of a risky move there. But it can be a very nice one. We do have DTs coming in from the Dark Templar Shrine. That went down over here. As well as ThorZain was getting a... he was getting Ghost. There's this Ghost Academy right there, and I like that play by ThorZain, knowing that we have a ton of units with shield, as well as the Templars to snipe. So the EMPs are going to be very effective against basically the entire Protoss. And we have a ton of Ghosts here, absolute ton without any cloak, but the cloak is on the way. But they're going to do a ton of damage with their EMPs. It's absolutely going to be enormous. And the DT doing a little bit of harassment down here, but able to hold on because we have a lot of orbital commands to scan off all the DTs. But we do have a proxy pylon down here, going to be able to warp in, as well as a command center going down there by ThorZain to try to get a fourth out. And it is looking a little bit on the bleak side there for LiquidHerO. We do have somewhat of an army here. Definitely kind of could go either way with the armies. Some good storms, some good EMPs could really change that. It looks like we might be setting up for a drop. But ThorZain does have another base fully mining that LiquidHerO does not. As well as we have a ton of upgrades for ThorZain. We have the +2/+2. And we're just now getting +1 for LiquidHerO, so it is being a little bit tricky here. We do have this DT over here, just kind of checking things out. And it is kind of tricky. And there's the drop from ThorZain in LiquidHerO's main. And this is going to be a little bit tricky there for LiquidHerO to deal with because you have to warp in some units there. But it looks like he will be able to hold on to this rather well. The feedback here for the medivac. There we go. feedback in the Sonic Storm, killed that Medivac. So very, very nice there. And we're going to turn it right into an Archon. So using our High Templars as well. And we're getting +3 attack for our army for ThorZain. So his MMM Ball and Ghost will be very, very effective. And we have a DT walking around here doing a lot of damage. But we do have the missile turrets in the mineral line to detect anything like that. As well as a Zealot warping down here. Going to be trying to picking off these supply depots, which will be doing, you know, a decent amount of damage. It probably wasn't cost effective enough. But again, ThorZain's going to have to rebuild that supply depot eventually because he was not maxed on supply. So a little win there for LiquidHerO, but not too spectacular. It looks like LiquidHerO is going to be putting a push on ThorZain's natural, but he will be ready for it. He's going to spawn it. This debris here isn't going to show that coming. A huge amount of EMPs going down, reducing all of these Archons' shields going down. And if another hit goes on this Archon, you could lose it. High Templar is going down. A Storm doing a little bit of damage there. These Ghosts walking right into that Storm, but going to that EMP. High Templar gets taken out before it can do anything. And it looks like those EMPs being very, very effective here against LiquidHerO's army. But LiquidHerO getting quite a few Sonic Storms off, doing a little bit of damage, not getting a lot of what he wanted. But we do have a ton of Zealots here to try to get that nice around here. But a good stim and EMP could really turn this battle. And we're going to stim away from that. We don't want that. The Ghosts are going to go in. A nice Storm gets all of those Ghosts. Very, very nicely. Another Storm goes down and takes out almost all of the Ghosts. Very, very nice Storm there by LiquidHerO. Very, very, very great play, but it looks like these Zealots will not be able to get this around, and the Stim Stutter Walk is going to be doing a ton of damage here against these Zealots, but it looks like there's actually a lot of Zealots there, so this could go either way. The Zealots continuing to attack, as well as a reinforcement there by some Stalkers. And it looks like these Marine Marauder Ball will be able to hold on for a little bit. These Archons need to get over here to do some damage. The Medivacs go down, and there's a reinforcement of Marines and Marauders coming in for ThorZain, and it looks like they're going to be pushing back this army, taking out the Archon, but we still have quite a few Zealots and an Archon left, as well as 2 High Templars at our third base. So LiquidHerO holding on from that attack. Very, very nice Sonic Storms there, taking out almost all of the Ghosts. Very well placed. I really like that. Really shifting the battle there. And he didn't take out all those Ghosts and actually got a ton of EMPs down. He could have lost the game right there, but LiquidHerO continuing to impress. I mean, a pretty big blunder from the beginning of the game, and he's still holding on. So some EMPs go down, and these Ghosts are just doing a ton of damage. Another EMP goes down, and it looks like this might be it for LiquidHerO with a huge supply difference, and there's the GG by LiquidHerO. So a very, very nice game there by both players. Great storms by LiquidHerO, but the blunder in the beginning could have left in the game. And ThorZain with very good mechanical play, very, very nice solid performance there, wins the game. And stay tuned for part number 2 for this best of 3 between these two people. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.